Hey, what's going on everyone? Welcome to my first YouTube video tutorial. This is just going to be a quick basic how to do a quick edit, like 5 minutes, on the go. You just want to do a few touch-ups here and there, whatever. So that's what I'm going to do here. Real simple, real quick. So here's my car. It's an Audi A3, the Shazmobile, with a nice 31 Shaz. It was shot with a 35mm Sigma. It was ISO 100. You can even see it up in the top corner. ISO 100, shutter speed 1/25 of a second, and 2.8. And so basically, there's a lot of blue in this photo. It was a black car, and I don't want these blue reflections. So what I personally do, there's a couple of ways you can do this. You can come down here to the blues, get rid of that. But we'll talk about that later. Anyway, so this is the basics. So exposure, brightness, basically, in other words. What I do in my edits, there's 100 ways to do the same edit. I just want to make that clear right now. You can do the same thing 50 different ways. So play around with the slides, find what works for you. But this is what I like to do. I like to bring the exposure down and the highlights down. So now there's nothing bright in the photo. Then I come over here to the shadows and I bring them up about 70-ish and just, make it all kind of one shadow now, if that makes sense. It all looks kind of one, and that's when I come with the whites, and that's what I use for the brightness. And I kind of like how it makes it white. Actually, that's a bit too much. Might bring it down. Oh, whoops! I'm bring it about 50, because then I'm going to bring up the blacks, and I kind of like that. So then I'm going to bring up the exposure to play around with it just a little bit. Might turn down the blacks a little bit, make it actual black. Turn up the contrast. Just play around with it a little bit. It's all trial and error in this. You can do it 100 different ways. Yeah, for example, I'll show you that kind of same way, different style. No, I said 5 minutes, but turn up the exposure, turn up some contrast, boom, turn the highlights, maybe a little bit of shadow, a little bit of whites, turn that to blacks, turn that exposure. You kind of get the drift. You can kind of do the same thing different ways. So it depends what you like to do. I personally like to play around, give it a little hazy, maybe turn down the whites. I'll keep them up. So I'm happy with that. If you're shooting in RAW, always shoot in RAW, because that gives you the ability to choose what color you want the scene. Even if it's not gold now, you can make it gold now. Personally, there's too much blue for my liking this, so I'm going to just turn up the slider, make it a little bit more yellow in there. I'm not going to touch the tint just yet. Now I come down to texture, clarity, and dehaze. But you can find other tutorials that go into details about this. I'm just showing you a quick edit. Clarity, I turn up the clarity about 30, or I'll go about 40. Whatever looks good. Whatever looks good. So I turn up the clarity and I always turn up the texture. I don't really fuck around with the haze. I keep it 0. Maybe I'll turn it up to like +2 or something. But so far, just with those little touch-ups, turned up the yellows, exposure, highlights, all that stuff, you can see it makes a difference. It makes a big difference. So that's just with that. If you like that, you can save it, whatever, and then you can play around with this. I don't really fuck around with this too much. I'll come down to here, but actually I forgot one thing. I turn up the vibrance just a bit, and I turn down the saturations. If you don't want it too colorful and stuff, you want to keep it kind of true to the original photo, unless you want to go for some crazy composite. I want to turn up the orange a bit, maybe darken them. Now these sliders is just all up to you, to be honest. It's whatever you like. So you just play around with sliders. See, look, the reds don't do nothing, so I might as well just leave it basic. Yellows, see, I can turn the trees a bit more green if I want. I kind of cut like a little bit green, a little bit yellow. There we go. About there. Oh, yeah, should be right. It comes to the aquas. I turn them down because I don't need aquas in this photo. I'm going to turn it off. With the blues now, I'm going to drop it down. You don't want it to go like this unless that's what you want. I like to keep it just a little bit of blue, so I might keep it like 75. See if I turn this down, it darkens that. So I might keep it a bit bright. I like that kind of brightness. As you can see in the fucking LED headlights and the ground, there's a bit of this purple. Don't want it. Get rid of it. Leave this basic, and then color grading. This is where go into detail, but if you want a little bit, so what you can do is you can hold down shift, it brings up this line, and so you can't really move it around. You can keep it on the line, so you can get it to exactly how you want it, play around with it a bit. And alright, turn that up about there. So just colors, and I just turned a little bit of a yellow fucking shadow. There you go. Turn my shadows yellow. I didn't even know what it did just then. And with those colors, you can see it changes it heaps. And it comes down to your sharpening, your luminance. Look, if your photo, when you turn up the exposure or whatever, is really grainy and it doesn't look good, this is when you come down to your luminance, you turn this up, and it'll basically like smooth it off a bit and not make it as grainy. But if you don't have the grain, you don't have to have it on. So it depends on you. I always, even if it's good, I like to turn it on just a little bit. And I bring up my sharpening to about 60, masking about 11. I turn up a little bit of contrast, and there you go. Always turn this on. Just do it. I don't even fucking know why, but when I was always learning, I always got told to turn that on. So turn that shit on. This is up to you if you want to enable. So basically, it reads what lens and all that shit you use. You can turn that off if you want. Turn it on. It's completely up to you. Vignette it, which is what I do kinda. Now the calibration is cool because you can change the colors and stuff, and then, you know, if you want that orange or reddish aqua theme, there you go, there's that. A lot of people do is turn up the saturation straight away on the blues before they start editing, and it gives it a nice look. Then yeah, there's this simple quick edit, fucking pretty quick, you know. Then you can put this fucking gradient filter in. You can turn this O if you want, so you can see exactly what it's affecting. You can click this brush button if you want to do it. This is up to you. You hold Alt on Windows, and then you can actually paint over the car like this, and it won't affect the car anymore. And click O again, go back to the edit, and turn down the exposure if you want. That is if you want. Turn down the highlights a little bit so it's not as bright. Right, just a little bit there. Keep that there, and I'll turn up the clarity a little bit. There you go. So super quick. What was that? I don't even fucking know. But there you go. Super quick, easy edit. Go whatever vibe you want. But that was just a little quick tutorial. If you like this tutorial and you want more, just like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, whatever. Yeah, thanks for watching, and peace.